Here we go. This is great. And thank you, Leah. Oh, yes, can't see you. Okay, you can. Leah, we good? She's been texting me. Leah Johns has been helping me so much. She's awesome. If you guys don't know her, she's amazing. If you know her, you're agreeing with me. So listen, welcome everybody. Happy New Year, happy holidays. I'm waiting for her text message to say yes, we are good, perfect. And I want to spend this time with you on Wednesday. I don't get much of a chance on Wednesday evenings. I know that we have allocated Wednesday as what we call a Wow Wednesday for our customers, mainly, right? It's for people that have made this decision that they want to become healthier, whether it's with their skin or with their overall health, or they want to travel the world. Our customer portal has gotten larger, and like our customer offering has gotten larger and larger. And it's absolutely incredible. And I can't wait for you to see what 2022 brings. And so, Wow Wednesday was designed by a handful of our leaders to really help our customers. It wasn't designed for us to really talk business. The thing is that it is 2022, and one of the things that's always brought up for people's life is always goals. Like, people always talk about goal setting, goal achieving. So many people talk about a New Year's resolution, and these things are phrases that are used at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, going into the beginning of a new year. For those of you that are on this, whether it's Facebook or on this Zoom, and we don't know each other, my name is Muzafer, and I've been very fortunate to be with a company called Secret. Originally, I came on board 6 years ago as the vice president of field development. And then I ended up making a transition because it was better for my family. So 2 years I served as the vice president of field development. And then after that, I became an independent contractor with this company. Before coming to this company, I found myself either building companies in this same profession, or being an executive in companies, being an independent contractor. I consulted for companies. And we were very fortunate financially. And throughout my years, one of the things that I did at the beginning of every year and throughout the year is set goals. But they weren't just to set. We actually put things in place in order to finish. And so one of the things that I want to talk to you about, whether it is in regards to any area in your life. And so a lot of times people think that when you hear someone that goes, I set goals, the very first thing that comes to your mind is what? For most people, it's money or business or success. It's the first thing that comes to mind. Very few people who you talk to sit there and say, hey, I set my goals for the year for my spiritual life. You don't hear too many people talk about, I set goals this year for my mental life. I set goals this year for my emotional self, or I set goals this year for, you do hear physical, right? Like, you hear people say, I want to lose weight, but you don't hear people sit there and say, hey, I set goals this year that I want to reduce the amount of wrinkles that I have. People say, I want to look better. I want to live longer. I want to look younger. I want to look younger longer. Like, you hear these things. But you don't hear some of the specifics. And so I want you to understand that I know a good friend of mine did an amazing, he's a business partner, a dear friend, did an amazing goal setting training a few weeks back. It was absolutely incredible. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was traveling. So I have no idea what he did. I just heard the response from people saying that Jesse McPherson did an incredible job. And I want you to know that we didn't talk. I didn't get a chance to watch it. All I'll be able to share with you is some of the things that I know and what I do, and what's really helped me. Financially, we've been very fortunate, ladies and gentlemen, to have earned a significant seven-figure income in multiple businesses. And I don't go talking about my other businesses throughout life, only because I've been very grateful for what's been given to me, whether it's financially, health-wise, relationships, whether it's, intimate relationship that, my wife or my kids, like that relationship, or if it's friendships, I'm very grateful for it. So one of the things that I want you to write down as we start this Zoom out, this call out, is that that for me, it's all about you'll never get what you want if you can't be grateful for what you have, right? So you want to write that down. Having an attitude of gratitude is so important. Living in gratitude is so important. It's one of the major things that I can always impose on people. Literally, like I talk about gratitude on a daily basis. But with that being said, it's nice to have goals. However, it's easier to, it's never easy, but it's simpler to accomplish. It's simpler to achieve. It's simpler to enjoy. It's better to enjoy when you live in gratitude, because then everything that you achieve and receive, you're grateful for. Like if you're grateful for the ability to hear this information right now, if you're grateful for the ability to see, if you live in that gratitude, watch what happens as you start to achieve your goals, because things in life spiral. Success breeds success, just as failure breeds failure. And I hope you understand the word breeding, right? Like it's so crazy, but it's so true. And so let's talk about this for a second. When it comes to goals, it's all about what's important to you. One of the things that I wanted to do as I prepared for tonight, I like to go through my library of books, and I've got so many throughout my office. And one of the ones that I grabbed for tonight's training was this book written by Stephen R. Covey, right? And it's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And maybe you've read this, maybe you haven't read this, but one of the things that as I flipped open this book, now I didn't flip open directly to this section. Like I had to find the section that I had in my mind for you. So funny, I did a call earlier today and I was talking about habits on that call. And on that call, it was crazy. When I was preparing for that call, I grabbed a book called Atomic Habits and literally opened it right to the section that was meant like for that training. For this one, I was actually looking for something. So I didn't like whip open the book, just so you guys know. I get lucky every once in a while, but not every time. But anyways, I was looking for this section in the book, and it says that all things are created twice. And this is what I want you to understand when it comes to goal setting. One of the things that you want to do is you want to begin with the end in mind, right? You begin with the end in mind. And this, listen, I got a lot of that from this book, and it's based on the principle that all things are created twice, right? Like, now this is crazy, right? Like people hear things like all things are created, or all people are created equal, or all things are created equal. No, none of that stuff. But all things are created twice. There's a mental or first creation and a physical or second creation to all things. There's a mental and a first creation and a physical or second creation. So take the construction of a home, for example. You created every detail before you ever hammer the first nail into place. So like you try to get a very clear sense of what kind of house you want, right? Like if you want a family-centered home, then you'll put a family room where it's like, it'll be a natural gathering place. You'll put sliding doors, a patio for children to play outside. Like, you work with this, like your mind, until you get a clear image of what you want. Then you reduce that to a blueprint and develop construction plans. All of this is done before the earth is touched. If not, then in the second creation, the physical creation, you will have to make expensive changes that may double the cost of your home. That's why you do everything to its finest detail before you touch earth. Like, think about that. Like the carpenter's rule is measure twice, cut once. That's the carpenter's rule. But most people don't measure twice when it comes to their life or their business or their physical nature, like their goals. So one of the things that I want to talk to you about today is that when it comes to really going after accomplishing what you want out of your life, right? And we call it a goal. The thing is that, like, I've met people that sit there and say, like, let's take physically, for example. There are people that go, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds and I want to do it in 30 days. Now, what's happening is they're setting themselves up for failure right away. And people go, oh, there are some people that have done it. Listen, what you don't want to do is you don't want to set yourself up for failure, because the psychology of our brain will either accept the information that we're putting inside or it will reject it. And the minute your brain rejects the information, it is done. Like it is done. Like it's just not going to happen in any time frame that you want, just so you guys know. So let's talk about this. There's 5 major areas when it comes to our life, right? There's mental, there's spiritual, there's emotional, there's physical, and there's financial. And the part about all of this is that, you know, I can't go, because we keep this kind of to a limited time. So I can't go into all of them. What I want you to understand is that whether we're going to talk mental or we're going to talk spiritual or emotional or physical, you know, physical, for example, so many of you are customers through one of our amazing representatives here at Secret. And one of the things is that you use either our skincare, body care, hair care, you use our nutrition, you love our Club Secret program, whatever your desires are, or it's all of the above. And or some of you actually work with us and you want to better yourself financially. Others of you don't work with us, but you still want to better yourselves financially. You know, one of the things that I learned a long time ago is that if you continue to do what you have always done, you'll continue to get what you have always gotten. So with that being said, think about this, right? If you continue to do in 2022 what you did in 2021, then you'll continue to get in 2022 what you were getting in 2021. So for things to change in 2022, you have to change. For things to get better in 2022, you have to get better. For things in your life to change, your thoughts have to change, right? And I guess that's why all of us are here. So when it comes to setting your goal and achieving your goal, there's 5 steps that I want to talk to you about, right? The very first thing is that you have to think it and write it. Like you have to think and write. And as this book talks about, is you want to be clear, like to every minor detail, right? Like the carpenter's rule, measure twice, cut once. Like you want this blueprint, the first creation, right, is really what you want. Like that you've thought everything through. It's the same thing in every goal that you're going to set. Then you put it into, you know, where you touch the ground, or when it comes to business, like if you want to have a successful business, you clearly define, that's the word that's missed by most people, what you're trying to accomplish. You carefully think through like the product, the service that you want to provide in terms of your market. If you're thinking for better skin, you think of the regimen that you want for better skin. And obviously we have the best skincare in the world, so you don't have to go looking for it. What you have to do is design your regimen. When it comes to health and nutrition, we have a Club Fit Challenge right now that is literally designed to help you. You know, the last time we did it, in 60 days, the average person lost 16.2 pounds. Maybe it was 13.2. Anyways, it was in the teens. It was either 13, 16, something like that, right? But the point is that they followed everything to a T. And so what I want you to know is, number one, you need to think it and write it. Number one, think it and write it to its minor details, like literally finest details. Number 2 is you have to see it, right? So you think it, write it, then you have to see it. Like it has to be a picture, because you'll never get what you want. You'll only get what you can picture. So it has to be in a picture format. Right? It has to be in a picture format. So step 1 is to think it, write it. Step 2 is that it has to be able to be something that you can see and picture. Number 3, you have to understand and accept the activities. You have to understand the activities and accept the activities. If it's physical, you have to understand the activities that it's going to take to lose the weight, to gain the muscle, right? To any of that stuff. If it's, you know, for beauty, you have to understand the activities. Do you have a regimen that you have to do in the morning? Do you have a regimen that you have to do at night? Is there something you have to do in the middle of the day? You have to understand it and accept the activities that you have to do. If it's business, if you're already working at a place and you're an employee of somebody's business, that doesn't make you a bad person or anything of that sort. But if you're in somebody's business right now and you're trying to earn an additional income and you want to do something different, right? You have to think it, write it, right? What you want to do. Then you have to see it. Like you have to see it. Like for me, when it comes to Secret, what I want is I want more customers and I want a bigger sales organization, right? So I think it, write it, then I see it. I visually see the amount of customers I want. I visually see the team that I want to build, right? Like I have to visually see it, right? And a lot of times that's pictures. You can get pictures off the internet today and print it, and you can make a book, you can make a vision board, whatever it is. You need to have something that you can see, because if you don't have the ability to see it, then your brain can't process it. And if your brain can't process it, your body cannot act on the activities necessary. That's why step number 3 is to understand and accept the activities that are necessary in order to accomplish the goals that you set, because it's not about setting a goal, it's about accomplishing it, achieving it, right? Number 4, it comes in one of my favorite words, and that is consistency, right? So you have to be consistent with the activities that you accepted, that you understood, for what you want, that you can actually see, that you wrote down, that came from your thoughts. I just went backwards, right? Just so you guys know. So I thought, like I think it, I write it, I see it, I understand the activities and accept it, and then I consistently do it, right? That's where everybody goes, Nike is your favorite. Yes, because it's just do it. I just wish they would add consistently, right? Just do it consistently. Like that would actually be brilliant with the Nike check mark. Just do it consistently, right? That's one of the most important things. And the last is actually what you do at the very beginning, is you have to start, like you have to begin with the end in mind. Like you have to begin with the end in mind, knowing that you're going to finish. So that's the 5th step, which is to finish, right? So step number 5 is to finish. So you think it, write it, you see it, then you understand and accept the activities, and then you consistently just do it. I hope you guys will always remember that. Consistently just do it, and then you finish. But at the very beginning, make sure that for every goal that you set, make the decision that you're going to finish. Start with the end in mind. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are short-term goals and long-term goals. And one of the most biggest mistakes that people make is they either set goals that are too big or too far out, that most people end up giving up before they even come close to achieving them. They set themselves up for failure. What I'm going to challenge all of you to do is, yes, you want a goal of where you want to be at the end of this year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. But what we need to do is that we need to create new habits, ladies and gentlemen. And so what I want you to do right now is try to design the next 90 days. You know why? Because I believe that everybody can commit for a season. I believe that you can commit for a season. A season, like that's all I ask. I'm asking you right now because so many people set these resolutions and they set all these things up and they have high hopes, and there's nothing wrong with hope. Hope is great. But what I don't want you to do is put yourself in a situation where you give up before you can even get close to accomplishing it. What I'm going to ask you to do is focus on a season, January, February, March. Start today. Don't start on Monday. Don't start on the weekend. Start today. Start today. Think it, write it, see it, start making sure that you create the pictures necessary for your brain to process this information. Understand and accept the activities. Just do it consistently, right? Consistently, and then finish. Let's finish. Let's finish this first season, right? So whether it is for your beauty health, your physical health, whether it's for your financial goals, right? What I'm going to ask you to do is that financially, don't put yourself in a situation where you are already setting yourself up for failure. So if you sit there and say, I want to make more money, let's say, for example, you're making $4,000 a month. That's the income that you're making. And people go, I want to make 10,000 a month. Have you ever made 10,000 a month before? No. And so what happens is that people automatically set themselves up for failure. What I tell people is that if you're making 4,000 a month, can your brain comprehend, accept? Can it accept 4,500 a month? Can it accept 5,000 a month? Yes, because it doesn't seem that far off, but it still would be nice and beautiful for you to have that. And then once you get there, then you set the next one, but you can set the future ones. Like, I want to be able to get to, let's say you said $5,000 a month, right, by the end of March. And then you said over the next 3 months after that, I want to jump to 7,000. And then the next 3 months after that, I want to jump to 10,000. Right? Or by the end of the year. But that's how you do it, right? Like, you set the right expectations for your subconscious to accept it, because your subconscious will have a hard time going from 4,000 to 10,000, but your subconscious can go from 4 to 5. And then it can probably go from 5 to 7, because once you saw that jump, your brain goes, aha, I can take a little bigger step than I just did. And then it can do it again. Right? It's all about your brain and subconscious's willingness to accept this information. And so I just wanted to spend a little bit of time with all of you, give you 5 key components that you can do to really accomplish the things that you want. Right? So you may start broad. You may start and write down, 5 things that you want to do to increase your mental health, 5 things that you want to do to increase your spiritual life, 5 things that you want to do to increase your emotional well-being, 5 things that you want to do when it comes to physical. And maybe it's 10 things. Maybe there's 5 things that you see in beauty, 5 things that you see in actual physical health. Like, when I look at my skincare regimen, right, I know that I want to make my skincare regimen better. So what I'm doing right now is I'm designing my skincare regimen for 2022. My physical, like, I wake up every morning and I take my recovery. Right? I take my recovery, and then what I do is that I get a quick workout in. And then I take recovery again after my workout, and I take my shake and greens. And then what happens is that I take a couple other supplements at that point. I take my immune support. I take, so I just want you guys to understand it's called Immunex, right? And then going into my next meal, I always take a digestive enzyme, which we have. It's called Digestex. I always take recovery with my meals. These are things that I do. I dose up on Immunex quite a bit throughout the day with everything that's going on. But I've got my regimen set all the way till at night, and I go to sleep. And before I go to bed, right, I'll take my alkaline boosters, I'll take my recovery, and I'll also take my probiotic and prebiotic, right? I take that, which again is one of our products, before I go to bed, because it's better to take on an empty stomach. But I just want you to understand, like, I have it clearly defined what I take on a daily basis. My goal is to have my skin regimen for my skincare and body care to be as detailed as my nutrition. Like, that's my goal. Is this year I want my skin and body's regimen to be as detailed as my skin, like my skin and my like the skin on my body. So basically the beauty side to be as detailed as my physical health, right? What's inside. So I want what outside to match what's inside. And I hope that you do too. It's so important. The fact is that tomorrow is promised to no one. Right. And so what we've got to do is live every moment to our best. So I'm going to ask all of you, is this year give your best and highest effort. Give your best and highest effort, right? Live to your best, ladies and gentlemen. And so, with that being said, I hope that this helped all of you. I hope it added value to your life. I am so grateful for those of us that work together. If you're a customer with us or one of our agents, I should say, thank you. Thank you for being a customer and using our products. And we look forward to having Wow Wednesdays service you, your family, your friends with knowledge and information to better your health outside in, inside out, and all of the above. So, with that being said, have a great night, everyone, and God bless.